We look up Buchenwald at the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum website and read, "The SS often shot prisoners in the stables and hanged other prisoners in the crematorium area." That's actually true, but it needs to be understood. We find a document from an American military trial. Affidavit of Hermann Pister, commandant of concentration camp Buchenwald, concerning special treatment there. If you remember, Hermann Pister was the Buchenwald commander from 1942 on. Pister states, "The only special treatment I know of is the execution of Russian commissars and politrukes who had been transferred to the concentration camp Buchenwald from prison camps by the German army. As far as I recollect, up to the year 1943. These persons were not taken into the concentration camps, but were executed immediately after their arrival. Their execution was ordered exclusively by the Reich Security Main Office." So Pister admits to executing commissars and politruks. But who are commissars and politruks? In Encyclopedia Britannica online, we find an entry for the Red Army and read, "Political advisors called commissars were attached to all army units to watch over the reliability of officers and to carry out political propaganda among the troops." We then go to Ivan's War, a book about the average Soviet soldier during World War II, and learn about commissars and politruks. But in 1939, the army still labored under the burden of constant political interference. For the regular soldiers, this aspect of life was ruled by the political commissars, who operated at the regimental and battalion level, and political officers, the Soviet term is politruk, who worked within the companies and lower units. As well as working as the party's spy, an individual politruk was likely to combine the functions of a propagandist with those of army chaplain, military psychiatrist, and school prefect. On page 65 we read that most Soviet soldiers looked at the politruk's clean boots, smooth hands, and unused cartridge belts and sensed hypocrisy. On the next page we read, "The fact that many politruks, whose education tended to be better than average, were Jews, was probably a factor too." The head of the commissar system was Lev Meklis, a sinister figure identified more with covert arrests than with soldiering. Meklis would issue orders to his commissars such as, "Teach all personnel how to rush into attack." Just 2 weeks before the invasion of the Soviet Union, Hitler's headquarters issued an order to kill captured commissars. 10 months later, in May 1942, however, the commissar order was rescinded at the urging of German field commanders. In the book The Trial of the Germans, Eugene Davidson writes, "Some have concluded that several hundred commissars were executed in the early months of the campaign." So when we read Pister's 1947 affidavit, we can surmise that the Buchenwald executions were due to the commissar order. Pister's recollection of killing commissars and politruks up to the year 1943 loosely corresponds with the rescinding of the commissar order in May 1942. All this gives us a better understanding of the passage at the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum that the SS often shot prisoners in the stables and hanged other prisoners in the crematorium area. They may have been Jews, but they were killed because they were commissars and politruks.